So in lesson 2, now we'll talk about the product to come to the rescue, WebSafe, and the team of experts that we have that are going to help every one of these organizations out there that are struggling to keep up our Security Operations Center. So WebSafe, our F5 WebSafe, it's a product that has 4 features. I do want to point out that 3 of these features have a very important word you don't want to misuse. It says malware detection, phishing detection, automatic transaction detection. It does not say protection. It does not say prevention. That's an important note, and we will talk about that a little bit later when we get into more of the slides. And then we also have my favorite feature, application layer encryption. When a customer licenses WebSafe, they also select of these 4 which features they want to purchase. So they don't just buy all 4 of them. They may just want our phishing help, our phishing detection. So we're going to talk about the first 3 of them through the remainder of the day. But before we get into malware detection, we're going to talk about our Security Operations Center. This is our Security Operations Center in Seattle. This is a picture of it. This is an actual picture. You see they have all these monitors. This was actually at the opening of the SOC a couple years ago. I just added this picture recently, and I found it very intriguing for myself personally. I don't know if Kok Young will notice anything. I don't even know if Salman will catch the relevance of this. But the people looking at this are our F5 executive staff. All of our F5 executives, including our F5 CEO. And not a single one of them is still with F5. So we have an entire new executive staff. But what they're looking at here are all these interesting tables and these charts. I think my battery just died. Anybody have another clicker I can borrow, or a battery?
Battery? What size?
A little small one. Oh, there it is. I think I was just getting something weird on my screen. Never mind. So what they're doing is they're looking at it. We're sitting now with the perspective of somebody in the SOC, and they're just monitoring all these things. Over on the left, they have this monitor here that has our alert device. It's our alert server. And our alert server shows all of the known activities that are taking place for all of our WebSafe customers worldwide. And they use that to help our customers. We'll get more into that. Some of the benefits of the SOC. It's a 24/7 by 365 service. Never off. It's in 2 locations, in our Seattle location, and we have the other one over here on this side of the world in Warsaw. We have it set up so that it can do real-time alerting to the fraud teams at the customer so they can see exactly what's happening when our SOC sees it. We also, the way we sell this, this is a service that comes with WebSafe. It is not a requirement to use our SOC. But our SOC is a complimentary service that comes with WebSafe. It is a way to add an extension of the customer's fraud team. Here's some more professionals to work with you. If they don't want it, that's fine. But this brings up an interesting note. I want to go out and talk to this customer to try to sell them WebSafe. I'm calling ahead of time to make sure I have the right target audience in the room. So who do I need to make sure is in the room when I go talk to that customer? Be sure to bring in your... No, what did you say? Your fraud team, not your security team. Not your application security team, not your network security team, your fraud team. Bring in your fraud people. Those are the ones who are going to respond to this. They say, we don't have a fraud team. One of 2 scenarios. Either they're not really a good potential WebSafe customer, or they're very far behind of where they should be in this day and age. So we partner with their fraud team. We're just an extension of their fraud team. We offer phishing site takedown services, and we can do this daily, several times daily. This is done on a package basis, so they can purchase so many of these takedowns per month, I think. There's a product matrix that has all these packages. They can filter all these alerts. They might get thousands and thousands of alerts in that alert server. They know how to filter it and really see the important ones, which is great. They can provide great reporting to the customers, everything that's going on. And most importantly, in our same office as ASM is where our WebSafe folks are. This is all in Tel Aviv. These guys are brilliant, the ones that I've worked with and met. And we have a whole team of people there that all they're doing is monitoring this problem and keeping our product up to date with it. So a lot of this is all part of our SOC, and it's all a big selling point for why WebSafe is valuable. So this last slide, I think it's this last slide in this section. No, it's not, forgive me. This slide is going to explain in general terms how WebSafe does what it does, and it kind of goes with what we were talking about yesterday, I think. Yes, I remember that. You'll remember it. So first up, we have the affected user. They've already got malware. We'll talk in the next lesson a little bit more about how that might happen. But now we're assuming they're already infected. And they want to do some sort of a request to my website behind BIG-IP. So they're sending a request just like they normally would. Can I please log into my online banking? Here's my username and password. We look at it. There's nothing wrong with the request. It's a valid request. There's no SQL injection, no cross-site scripting. There's no layer 7 attack. Nothing wrong with that at all. The web server gets the request. It sends the response. The response comes to the BIG-IP. WebSafe now does its part. WebSafe does an insertion of JavaScript code, obfuscated JavaScript code. Talk about what that means in just a moment. It just puts that code in the response and sends it off to the user. The user will have absolutely no idea that that extra JavaScript code is in there. At most, they might go to view source if they're just a really curious person, but then they're just going to see JavaScript, along with a whole bunch of other JavaScript that was already in the page. It's not going to affect the web page at all, its behavior, and they can still continue to do stuff like normal. But now, the malware triggers. The malware is now going to do what it does, which we'll talk more about in the next lesson. But the JavaScript code, the purpose of the obfuscated JavaScript code is just to wait for that to happen. Wait for that malware to trigger, and as soon as that happens, from that user's device, they will issue a request to the web server. It will look just like a request to the web server. Can I have another image file? Can I have this file? Can I have that file? Just a regular old web request. So even if the hacker or somebody was watching this to see that it doesn't look like anything, it looks very benign, but it's actually an alert. And the alert gets sent to the web server, but of course it's going to the BIG-IP, and WebSafe sends that alert to the SOC. And we'll talk a little bit more about what happens at that point. This is the tip. This is what happens with WebSafe. Now remember, it's called detection. I've just detected it. It's not called protection. From this point on, the malware is still running. We didn't take the malware off the computer. Our product isn't that powerful. No product is that powerful. At this point, it's a matter of, and by the way, in this scenario for the F5, for the BIG-IP, who's our customer? Who is our customer? Who is the F5 customer here? This side or this side?
This side.
This is our customer. That's not our customer. This is our customer. That is their customer. So at best, what our fraud team does with their fraud team is they analyze these results together. It's this customer's job to do something with them. They have their own, that's what their fraud teams are there for. They probably reach out to them, tell them to change their passwords, explain to them that they've been hit, and so forth. One of the challenges that we've had, I've heard about selling WebSafe, well, if all you can do is detect it, you can't block it like ASM does. Why would I want it? Why do I care if you can't stop it? Well, number one, nobody can stop it. And a little bit later on, I'll show you a slide to really explain why we can't stop it. But number two, I would then ask the customer, okay, well, you have two choices. You have two options here. That user's already infected. And when they're infected, they're at risk of losing their username and password for your banking site, and many of your other customers are at risk of losing their username and password for your banking site. And if those username and password lists are sold, then who's going to suffer all these potential username and password breaches? You are. So would you rather have absolutely no idea which of your users out there are in trouble, just blind? Or would you rather at least have full visibility of what's going on out there in your customer base, who's infected, and what they're infected with, so that we can help them? You can help them. That's the selling point. Another question I hear a lot is, I don't understand, isn't this what ASM does? Absolutely not. Totally two different things. What we just discussed is WebSafe, I should change this, helps or works with the devices, users' devices, their tablets, their computers, their phones, whatever. It works by protecting the user's devices using inserted JavaScript. JavaScript insertion on the client side. That's what it does. ASM protects these resources, our web servers. And it does it using security policies and DOS profiles on the BIG-IP. So we can block this stuff. Two totally separate scenarios here. So, which one should I pick?
Both.
Both, of course. We recommend both to get all of the security that's available. Good answer.